Okay, guys. There's an example here. We have a monoband repeater. That's V to V. Input is VHF. Output is VHF. And a crossband. Input is UHF and output is VHF. Now, most of us have a dual band radio which has a crossband repeat function. Others are using that base or radio to be functioning as a repeater like this. Input U and V. But the main purpose of that crossband repeater is a remote link. For example, in a car, you put a dual band base there, right? So your dual band will be inside the car, and this will serve as a remote link. So when you leave the car, go into the mall, into a building or mall, in the basement, this is parked in the rooftop, for example, you will be able to hear all the people on the repeater, and you can also reply to the messages coming from the repeater. That's the main purpose of a dual band. It's like a wireless mic. You went to the mall and you were in the basement, or even if you were outside, you couldn't trigger the repeater with the rubber duck because of the distance to any repeater. You can trigger it. If you can't trigger it, then you'll have to use a remote. So in the 90s, this was very popular, using a crossband repeat base for remote link. For example, I went to the mall and this is the base. For example, repeater A is programmed in channel A on the left side, and I can use the mic and trigger it with the mobile antenna. Yes, I'll trigger it even very far. But when you leave the car and not using the mic, if your base has a crossband repeat function, you can use this as a remote link. Okay, if you crossband this to, for example, repeater A and a UHF frequency, and you carry a UHF radio inside the mall, UHF, because this repeater A memory is receiving in the output of the repeater, everything that is spoken in the repeater will be crossband repeated to the UHF channel that you are using. So you'll be in the mall, in the basement, for example, mega mall. You can hear everyone talking on the repeater. Yes, and you're carrying a handheld UHF portable, and you will be hearing everything, everyone talking in the repeater, because this should have a tone in the transmit. So everything is repeated in the UHF. And when somebody calls you, okay, you hear your call sign, you can reply simplex to the UHF. So you're hearing them, and then you can reply UHF. And because it is a crossband back to back, you can call back from UHF going to the repeater A channel, which in turn, this is in duplex and transmits to the VHF input. So you can answer, you can hear them all, and you can answer using your mobile radio, a crossband repeat radio. That's the main function. For example, you were camping and your car was sitting there. You can place your car where you can trigger the main repeater, and you'll be on UHF. Only one band. All the people transmitting at 14650, the output, it will be relayed to the UHF portable that you're carrying. At the same time, if you call back, your UHF in simplex will be repeated to the channel A, which is in duplex. For example, here is a negative, right? Negative duplex. When this transmits, it moves from 14650 to 141.500. Is it 500? Yes. So your UHF will be crossband repeated to here, to the transmit side. When this transmits, it goes to the input of the repeater, just like you were using the mic. That's the main purpose of people buying a crossband repeat bass or radio. So your mobile antenna or your mobile base on the car serves as a remote link where your portable cannot trigger it directly. So this will function okay. For example, I park my car on the top of the car park in Mega Mall. I might trigger it if I was on the rooftop of the car park. Yes, I might trigger it using a portable directly, or just use a UHF channel and go down inside the mall until the basement. This will serve as a portable remote repeater that links to the main repeater. You see? So if I transmit in the UHF, it will transmit VHF, right? And this is set as duplex because it's a memory channel of your main repeater. At the same time, whatever the repeater is transmitting, it is transmitted to the UHF, so you can hear them talking, or if someone tries to call you, right? So this is the main way we used it in the 90s. Okay. Yes, VHF monoband repeater is very hard to set up and expensive because it has to do with filters and everything, right? But people now are trying to do a crossband repeater, repeater because it is easier. Only a dual band antenna and a diplexer or channel splitter. This is good, but you cannot use this purpose. If you had another crossband repeater, you cannot do this the same as using it for a monoband repeater. Even if it was UHF, if this is a UHF repeater, instead of UHF, this will be UHF, okay? This, you will be working with a VHF channel. It will work flawlessly. But here comes a problem. Okay. Here's repeater A. It is xband. I can trigger it with my mic. Yes, no problem. My base will transmit UHF TXU because the input is UHF and my RX is VHF. Okay, so if you make this function as a crossband repeat, it's okay. Your RX, when it's on standby, it is receiving VHF. So you will hear everyone talking on the VHF frequency. Yes. It will be transmitted to the UHF. Okay, you bought a portable in the mall or somewhere. You have a portable UHF. UHF. You will hear everyone on the repeater. Yes, you're gonna hear everyone. It would be transmitted to the UHF, right? The problem is, if someone calls you on the repeater, he or she is on a rubber duck, right? Okay, you hear it on the VHF, it transmits to the UHF. Oh, you heard your call sign. You wanted to reply. There, that is the situation that this fails. If I transmitted UHF, the tendency, this mobile repeater or remote link would repeat to a VHF transmit frequency. But you program a UHF transmit, right? That's the problem. You're transmitting UHF, it cannot cross band to the same UHF. So it cannot it cannot work on a crossband. That's why nobody knows how to set this up. Here, if I transmit it to the UHF, my UHF channel, it would relay it to the VHF memory channel, which is in duplex, which can trigger the input of the main repeater. If that was a monoband repeater, so this is okay. But here, I wanted to reply. I'm using my UHF. Okay, I'll transmit in a simplex in the UHF, carrying this inside the mall, and this is parked outside. The vehicle is parked outside. If I transmit it to the UHF, it wants to transmit to a VHF channel, another channel, but it also has a UHF it needs a UHF transmit. Even if you program it to do that, U to V duplex, it cannot. Here it will deafen the UHF receive of this, even if it is capable of doing it, because it's a crossband repeat. It has to be on another band. So I'm using the UHF. I transmitted. This has to transmit on a VHF, not a UHF. But your repeater is a crossband repeater. So the input is in the UHF. That's where the problem lies. You cannot do it with. You cannot do this. What we were doing in the 90s with a crossband repeat main repeater. You cannot do it. You see, I'm carrying a UHF. I transmitted to the UHF. It has to transmit to a VHF. It's crossband. It's reversible, right? But you transmit it to the UHF, it will transmit to the other side, which should be VHF. So how will you trigger a U to V crossband repeater? I was thinking of a different way how to do it, but it can be done. But this should be duplexed for UHF, VHF. Yes, it can be done, but you have to transmit. When you reply, you have to transmit to VHF. So this one receives you, but the problem is this one is receiving this 14650. So you're gonna transmit simplex on the main transmit of the repeater. So it's not gonna work. That's why I'm telling everyone that is doing a crossband repeat main repeater, you're not gonna have this function, making your mobile car into a remote link for your portable. This one, it will not work. If you have if you are triggering a monoband repeater, for example a VHF repeater or UHF repeater, your crossband repeater base will work. You just have to carry one portable with you wherever you go. So your portable will be triggering a crossband repeat on the mobile, and the mobile will be relaying it to the monoband repeater. But it cannot do it with this. The only thing that you can do with this crossband repeat function here is listen. Listen to everyone on 14650 and hear it on the UHF, but you cannot reply. See, that's the difference. You cannot reply unless you're gonna do this also crossband. But the problem is everyone has to be simplex. It's not gonna be standard. If someone a portable transmits in simplex here, and another person is on a portable, she's not gonna hear you because you're on simplex. Only the repeater will hear you and relay it to you. But that's not good. This is better. Using a monoband repeater, everyone, whether distance away from the repeater, can ride on it. At the same time, you can hear them all on the base. At the same time, you can hand HD portable away from the car into a mall or somewhere in the basement where neither the main repeater, you cannot hear it. This will do the purpose of relinking your repeater to your portable. So this is a remote, like a wireless mic. See, that's why when someone tries to set up a crossband repeater, it's okay, but you cannot do what we were doing in the 90s, using a dual band radio and carrying a HT on another band, and your mobile will be the relay station that can trigger the main repeater. So I just wanted to explain to the others. They don't really understand what's the disadvantage of having a crossband. It's easier, it's cheaper, but you cannot do that. This function, a crossband link, you cannot do it with a crossband repeater. You can only do it with a monoband repeater, a remote crossband link, and you using a portable going further. You see, that's better. So my video is very long. Shaky hands, umaga. So yun ang function, no? I will use the crossband repeat function of a mobile base to be a remote link to a main repeater. The main repeater has to be a monoband repeater. For example, VHF repeater, UHF repeater, it can work. But Others that don't know about this, that is not gonna work with your crossband repeat radio on your vehicle. That's not gonna work. Sorry. So